Science, commerce, or arts and humanities? What's your calling? Hi, my name is Mohit Mangal. I'm an author and a career counselor. Which stream should I choose? Science, commerce, arts, or humanities? A simple yet the most daunting question, and I'm sure that this is for each and every student who is studying in grade 9 or 10. By the end of this video, I shall get you a proper answer of how to select the right stream which is most suitable for you. The agenda for today's session, I'm going to talk on three things. One, I'm going to talk on a 4-quarter square method, which is a self-assessment tool helping you understand yourself better. Second, I will talk to you about the subject combinations which are available after class 10 in Indian education system across boards, be it state board, central board, ICSE, international board, Cambridge board. And third, I shall talk to you about all 22 higher education verticals which are available in India as per the University Grants Commission. Intermittently, I'll keep clearing any and every doubt. If you have, you can just punch across a message to me in the chat box, and I'll be happy to answer your query. Let us start with understanding the 4 quarters of your square. Those 4 quarters are can be basically compared with the 4 pillars. So when you talk about any building, that building stands on by and large 4 pillars. Same way, the building of your career also stands on these 4 pillars, which I have named as 4 quarters of your square. Those 4 quarters are understanding your orientation, that is the learning quotient, your aptitude, that is intelligence quotient, personality, that is emotional quotient, and your interest, that is your passion quotient. Step by step, I'll explain you all 4, and I will also explain you how to assess yourself in each one of the quotients or the parameters. Starting with understanding the word orientation, we divide students in broadly 3 categories. The first category of children are children whom we call are academic oriented. They are children who love to read, study, watch educational videos, spend a lot of time on books and or academia on research and so on. They are academic oriented children. Second category of children are children whom we call are people oriented. They are children who are not that comfortable with academics. They are more comfortable in talking, discussing, debating, arguing, interacting. Even when you go to meet their teachers in the school, they always have one complaint to make. That is, the child disturbs the entire class. You need to understand they are more people oriented children. And the third category of children are children who are neither too much into academia nor too much into people interaction. They are more comfortable in doing practical hands-on things like drawing, dance, art, craft, music, sports, acting, mimicry, cookery, photography, filmmaking, digital marketing, and so on and so forth. They are known as practical oriented children. Now, the best part is all these 3 orientations are there in every child. First thing which you have to understand or figure out is what is your highest orientation, second level of orientation, and third level of orientation. So first thing first, identify your orientation, that is your learning quotient. How do you do that? Ask yourself, do you learn by books and academia better than people interaction, or by doing things practically hands-on? Whichever way you learn the best is your highest level of orientation. Something which you learn intermediate is your second level of orientation, and something which does not give you much comfort in learning is your least level of orientation. Having understood and identified your orientation, let's move to the second pillar, that is measuring your aptitude. Now, before I move ahead, I want to quickly give you a snapshot of making you understand what do you mean by the word aptitude. Well, when we were all small little children, we showed comfort in absorbing things in different ways. There was one child who was always much keen in playing with cars, planes, helicopters, bikes, and all. There was another child who was more keen on drawing, painting, sketching, music. There was another child who was always sitting on understanding things by virtue of interaction. So, this particular method of absorbing knowledge is something which we call as the natural bent of mind. That is what is your aptitude, which we call as intelligence quotient. If you carefully see till grade 10, in most of the boards across the world, every child is exposed to five categories of subjects. You're exposed to mathematics, sciences, which include physics, chemistry, and biology, social sciences, which is history, civics, geography, and economics, languages, which could be English, Hindi, Sanskrit, or any other regional or foreign language, and fifth category of subjects, which are practical skill based subjects, could be related to art, craft, sports, music, computers, painting, and so on. Whichever subject you are able to gain knowledge in comfortably, easily, naturally, are your high aptitude subject zone areas. And the subjects which you really don't like, which you tend to procrastinate gaining knowledge on, in which you have to put in much more energy in consuming the subject, are your relatively low aptitude subject zone areas. Second, assess your aptitude. That is your intelligence quotient. Ask yourself which subject or subject area comes naturally, easily, and comfortably to you. They are your high aptitude subject zone areas. Next, we come to knowing your personality. What kind of a person you are? Well, this is also something which we call as an emotional quotient. Each person puts up his or her impression in the minds of others differently, and that is what makes you unique. So explore your personality, that is your emotional quotient. Ask yourself what traits make you unique and different from others. How do you do it? You go to three set of people. Go to your parents, ask them what kind of a son or a daughter am I. Go to your teachers, ask them what kind of a student I am. And go to your friends or siblings, ask them what kind of a friend or a brother or a sister I am. Whatever adjectives they use for you are your personality traits. Moving to the fourth quarter is clarifying your interest. There could be a lot of areas in which, while working or doing work on, you lose the track of time. This is your interest area. Pinpoint your interest. That is what we call as your passion quotient. How do you do that? Ask yourself what kind of activity or work while doing you lose the track of time. Having identified interest completes your understanding of your four quarters of the square, and this is what is important for the right career selection. So what should be the basis of subject selection? Should it be peer group? Whatever your friends are taking, you should take that? Answer is not really. If you've understood my talk clearly, I hope you are very well aware now, at least, that your orientation matches with your best friend is not necessary. Your aptitude matches with your best friend is not necessary. And same is true with your personality and interest. So following peer group may not lead you in the right direction. So you should go by your marks. If you get good marks, take sciences, average marks, take commercial studies, low marks, take arts, humanities. Answer is again no. I always tell parents and children, marks has no connect with subject selection or intelligence whatsoever. Should you follow parental guidance? Well, if your parents are that aware, they are aware of the latest trends, happenings, and they are able to observe you well and give the right guidance, then it may make sense. But otherwise, just following probably what your parents' profession is may not be the right way. Should you go with what market is offering you today, which is supposed to be the most paying or which is supposed to be the most happening career ahead? Answer is again, whether your 4 quarters match with it or not, I'm really not sure. So the basis of stream selection actually should be your subject combinations available and your comfort zone in those subject combinations at 10th grade level. So carefully looking in the new education system, the 5 category of subjects which I had explained you previously has further been divided into 8 categories. So your mathematics has been added with computing. You might study subjects like mathematics, computer sciences, artificial intelligence, business maths. Sciences remain as it is, that is your physics, chemistry, and biology. Social sciences include history, civics, geography, economics. Humanities include your languages and philosophy kind of subjects. Then the practical skill based subjects have been further divided in 3 broad categories. One is arts, which may include music, dance, theater, sculptures, painting. Sports, which include courses related to sports, games, or even yoga or meditation. And vocational education, which may give you exposure towards electronics, electrical, carpentry, plumbing, and so on. And last but not the least, there is another introduction of interdisciplinary subjects, which may be related to commerce, sustainability, climate change, health, media and journalism, Indian knowledge, and so on. You have to figure out which one of these subjects areas or subject areas are really comfortable to you. Looking at the 6 older options, either you could go for a physics, chemistry, maths combination, popularly known as Science A group, or physics, chemistry, biology, which is known as Science B group, or there are few children who also took AB group, that is physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology, all four. You could also go for commerce, which is plain commerce, studying accounts, business studies, and economics. And there are kids who would study even mathematics along with commerce, where you get to study accounts, business studies, economics, and mathematics. And last is the arts and humanities, which might include history, geography, political science, and psychology as subjects. In the newer combinations, you will see a lot of changes after the new education policy implementation gets into place. You might be allowed to take up mathematics plus interdisciplinary subjects, sciences plus interdisciplinary subjects, social sciences plus interdisciplinary subjects, languages plus interdisciplinary subjects, or skill based and interdisciplinary subjects. And further, there could be mix and match combinations. There could be 16 newer combinations which are available or which will be made available across boards. To know more about these combinations, I will insert the list of these combinations in the description below. You may go and check the description of this video. Straight away coming to who is the child who is right fit for taking physics, chemistry, mathematics? Well, your orientation needs to be strongly academic. Aptitude needs to be very high in mathematics, sciences, especially with physics and chemistry. Your personality should be such that you have the ability to sit and spend long hours in study of books and or computers. And last but not the least is your interest, where you need to have or showcase your interest in latest machinery, gadgets, problem solving, repairing things, etc. If you are in line with all these 4 orientation, aptitude, personality, interest matching with you, then you are the right candidate for physics, chemistry, mathematics combination. Who is the right candidate for physics, chemistry, biology? Again, if you're strongly academic, and along with academic, you also have certain comfort in practical application. Your aptitude needs to be high in all 3 sciences, which include physical science, natural science, and life science. Your personality needs to be such that you are comfortable working for long hours, and you need to showcase your interest in the area of human anatomy, reading, writing, and even retaining things for long. If you match all these 4 parameters, you are the right candidate for physics, chemistry, biology. Who is the right candidate for what we popularly call as commerce or commercial studies? If your orientation is strongly academic, you're good with basic numerics, mathematics, accountancy, and economics kind of subjects. You have ability to spend long working hours primarily with the data and the numbers, could be both on paper as well as on computers. And you need to have interest in financial transactions, trading, economic components of society, data analysis, and so on. If you fit in all these four parameters, you are the right candidate for taking up commerce or commercial studies. And lastly, who is the right candidate for picking up arts or humanities? If you are a beautiful mixture of academic, practical, and people orientation, you are high at social sciences and languages at 10th grade level. Your personality is an observant personality with ability to analyze human qualities, human behavior, social issues, and so on. And you show interest in versatile reading, writing, and memorizing stuff. Then you are the right candidate for arts or humanities. Looking at the higher education verticals, as I told you in the beginning, University Grants Commission, which is the controlling body of higher education in India, has split higher education in 16 broad verticals. For the convenience of the parents and children, I have further segregated them and made 22 higher education verticals. Looking at children who come from maths and science combination or background, these children can go for agricultural sciences, architecture, computer applications, defense forces, economics, fishery sciences, engineering technology, medicine and surgery, paramedical sciences, planning, pure sciences, rehabilitation sciences, or veterinary sciences. What are the options available for children who walk out from commerce? Well, for them, one can join business management. Obviously, commerce and finance option is always open. They can also move to computer applications, defense forces, design and fine arts, economics, hotel management, law, liberal studies, mass communication, planning, sports and physical education, travel tourism, and vocational studies. And lastly, children who walk out from humanities or arts in 12th, lot of children feel that after humanities, the options available are less. But answer is no. After doing humanities, you can go for higher education in the area of arts, business management, computer applications, defense forces, design fine arts, economics, hotel management, humanities, law, liberal studies, mass communication, performing arts, social sciences, sports physical education, and vocational studies. Out of these three given sets, which I explained you related to science, commerce, and arts, there are almost 12 higher education verticals which are open to all and commonly available for all three streams. What are those 12 higher education verticals? They include business management, computer applications, defense forces, design fine arts, economics, hotel management, law, liberal studies, mass communication, performing arts, sports physical education, and vocational studies. My last piece of advice to all of you is please do not blindly follow friends or trends. Not following friends is especially something which I will like to put across to the children. And for parents, I always say, please don't follow trends. Whether your child's 4 quarters match with the 4 quarter requirement of any particular trend or profession, you will have to check and then only take a call whether the child is right fit for a hard trending career or really not. So, please comment, let me know which career detail understanding you need. Maybe my next video relates to the career which is your dream career. Do not forget to subscribe, share, and press the bell icon if you liked this video. And with this, I wish you all the very best. Do well and do let me know if there is something which I can make as a part of educational video which will help you for your career ahead. Thank you.